Hey everyone, welcome back for another tier list. Today I'm going to be doing the films of James Cameron. He's one of my favorite directors of all time ever since I got into film. He's only made 9 films so far, which we have here. He still has a whole heap of Avatar sequels in the planning that are going to be out hopefully within the next 10 years or so, but they keep getting pushed, so we'll see. Um, yeah, so he's definitely one of my favorite directors with the Terminator films and Alien and Avatar and all that. Um, yeah, there are a few of his films they still haven't released on Blu-ray or 4K yet, like True Lies and The Abyss, which I have been waiting for a long time, and I know a lot of fans have too. So hopefully we'll get them soon. But anyway, we'll just jump straight into the ranking now. So he's made a lot of my favorite movies, even though he's only got 9 here. So as you'll see, a lot of them will go in the S or Amazing tier, which is on this list. So first up we have Titanic, which is straight away up in the Amazing tier. A lot of people will pass this film off as just like a chick flick or a romantic drama, but it's overly sappy or anything like that. But I actually really enjoy the film as a whole. It's a 3 hour plus film that's entertaining from start to finish, and pretty much half the film is about the ship sinking, and it's like a disaster movie. So you do have this romance that takes place for the first half of the film, and it leads into the second half when the ship's sinking, and it makes it all the more tragic and everything like that. Those scenes are just like masterfully done as well. Like it's a fantastic looking movie. The performances are great. Leo and Kate Winslet are great. The musical score is classic. Like it's very famous. Yeah, there's a lot that's just iconic about this film, and I think it's a brilliant film. And it's a lot of people love it, but I also think it's underrated as well in a lot of circles where people just pass it off, as I said, as like a overly sappy romance film when I don't think it is. So yeah, it's definitely a top tier film for me. Next, we have the film that pretty much launched James Cameron's career after Piranha, and that was Terminator, the original Terminator film. This film is easily another S tier, and I'm going to put it above Titanic. I love the first Terminator film. I love the first two actually. From there on, from three onwards, it just goes downhill really fast. But the original Terminator film is such a classic and iconic film. It's very like small budget, grungy, grimy, gritty kind of film. It kind of feels a bit dated nowadays looking at some of the visual effects and stuff, but I can still appreciate it for what it is. And it's just a super original and fun action, sci-fi, horror kind of film. And it really blends the horror and sci-fi really well into something that I guess hadn't really been done up until this time, or even hasn't really been done emulated properly since this film. So it's just a great film, and it's really the perfect role for Arnold Schwarzenegger as well. Because he has to act robotic and not say many lines, so he's really good at that. So yeah, really like the movie. It has a lot of great action set pieces and scenes that are really quite terrifying as well as some great visual effects and elements that maybe don't hold up as well today, but they're still really good for their time. Another iconic film score as well in that movie. So next we have the Avatar films. So I'll start with the first one from 2009. This was a really good movie. I know a lot of people like rubbish the Avatar films nowadays for having a basic story and plot, or similar plots to other films, but for what they are, they're very enjoyable. And I'm going to put them both in the great tier. I've seen the new one twice now, and I really like it. I just bought the 4K the other day, so I'm keen to check it out again. But I think I might like it better than the first film. I know the last like hour, 45 minutes to an hour of the film with the big epic water battle was pretty awesome, and I really enjoyed that in cinemas. So, but they're pretty much on par with each other for me in the great tier. I don't think they're top tier James Cameron movies, but I do really like them, and I'm pretty keen to see what he does next in the Avatar franchise. But yeah, I do like them a lot, even though they might not have the most original storylines or anything like that. I just think they're very visually impressive and entertaining. Next up, we have easily James Cameron's best film and one of my top 10 favorite films of all time, and that is Terminator 2 Judgment Day, which is going at the top of the S tier. Not only is this a fantastic sequel that's better than the original, it's quite possibly one of like the top 5 best action films ever made. It holds up so well today. That's probably why it's better than the original film because well, the first film seems a bit dated in a lot of ways, The second film holds up really well, even though it's 30 plus years old now. Um, and it kind of transitioned from being a small budget horror sci-fi film that the first one was to a big budget action sci-fi film, and it did it really well without it being too jarring or anything like that. And you've got great performances here. Once again, Schwarzenegger, um, the kid who plays John Connor, he's really good in this film. And Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor, she does a complete 180 in her performance from the first Terminator film as her character shifts to the second film, and it's really amazing what she does in these films as well. But yeah, I can't praise that film enough. It's a movie that I watch pretty regularly, and it's always super fun and entertaining. Easily the best of his films. Next up, we have True Lies, and this is a pretty good film. I wouldn't say it's one of his best, but it's still good. It's very good actually. I don't think it's quite great, but it's very good. It's a super funny, entertaining action film. I think it's the only time James Cameron's pretty much delved into comedy, but it's still got his action roots throughout it. And obviously Schwarzenegger's back, but him and Jamie Lee Curtis are great here. Bill Paxton is one of the standouts in this film. He's just hilarious in all of his scenes. The action is actually shot really well. It's a bit over the top and silly, but it's also just a very fun film, and it works really well. And I can't wait for them to finally bring that out on Blu-ray, hopefully soon. But yeah, Bill Paxton's definitely my favorite part about this film, and he's in quite a lot of James Cameron's other films as well. But yeah, he's really good there. Next up, we have another iconic film, and this is Aliens. So Aliens is like, or Alien, sorry, the whole franchise is like my favorite, pretty much my favorite film franchise, and Aliens is just a classic film, and it's easily in the top tier. I'll put it between the two Terminator films because I think I still prefer Terminator 2 over Aliens. But Aliens is only just behind it because it's a fantastic movie. They're both like two of my favorite films. Um, yeah, it just kind of does what Terminator 2 did to the Alien franchise, though, where it just kind of brings in a bigger budget and turns it into more of an action film and just scales everything up. Even though I still love the original Alien film, probably even more than Aliens, I still really like this movie a lot. And it easily deserves the S tier because, yeah, Alien and Aliens are like just top tier films, pretty much just like the first two Terminators. Um, Next up, we have The Abyss, and this is another one I haven't watched in a long time, but I've always really loved it. And I've just been waiting for it to come out on Blu-ray so I can watch it again. But it's easily going to go into the great tier for me. I don't know whether I like it more or less than the Avatar films. For now, I'll just put it behind them because, as I said, I haven't seen it for a long time, but I do remember really liking it a lot, um, more so than True Lies as well. So, yeah, even for its time, I know the visual effects in this film are probably a bit dated now, but I just think it's a really fun, kind of claustrophobic underwater adventure film that blends sci-fi into it as well in its second half. And I thought it did a really good job at that. As I said, I haven't seen it for a long time, but I'm pretty sure my opinions on the film have stayed pretty solid, so I'm going to keep it in that tier. Yeah, so as you can see, all of his films are pretty great. Unfortunately, we have one more film, which is Piranha 2: The Spawning. This movie I only watched recently, or maybe a year or two ago actually, but um, yeah, it's the first film he made and it's really bad. I'm just going to put it straight into the bottom tier because there's nothing that's really salvageable about this movie. Because most people consider The Terminator to be his first film, but he actually made this film before it. But yeah, it's terrible. There's nothing good about it. It's not even like a guilty pleasure kind of film where you can have fun with it because it's just so so bad and so silly and over the top. Um, but yeah, there's nothing good about it, so it's going down the bottom. So that's my tier list, guys, for James Cameron. As you can see, like I really love most of his films, actually all of them except for Piranha. So yeah, if you haven't seen any of them, definitely check any of these ones up here out. Yeah, so he hasn't made a whole lot of films in his career because he's had all these big gaps between like Titanic and Avatar, and then the Avatar sequels. But yeah, I'm always excited for when he has a new film coming out. So I am looking forward to the future Avatar installments as well, and whatever else he does. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe and let me know what your rankings are down below. Bye.